Howdy friends, Status here with Insomniac Next Door. In this video I'll share with you my experiences with Chaga mushroom, which is one of the 4 medicinal mushrooms out there that are famous for various things from detoxification to high antioxidant power and some sleep improvement and so on. So keep in mind my results are in the backdrop of about 6 or 7 years of poor sleep and insomnia issues, and also mercury toxicity. So the results may vary for everybody, and depending on your health condition overall. So I have, besides insomnia, pretty bad adrenal fatigue that I've been recovering from, digestion issues, and food sensitivities. And overall, I have very low tolerance for any sort of supplement. So Chaga is definitely one of the mushrooms that actually I tolerate well and I have good results with. So in this video I'll share with you the way I take it, the different types there are, and some of the lessons that I derive from it. Okay. So, like I mentioned, this Chaga mushroom is a keeper for me, and it took a while before I figured out a good relationship to it and find the correct tolerance levels. So, but in general, you've probably done your research, then you know that Chaga is famous for enhancing an immune system. It's a powerful antioxidant. It's a digestion aid, powerful antiviral. It does a good job regulating blood sugar and many other benefits. I always advise you also do the same before you take anything. You always check with what traditional Chinese medicine says about any sort of supplement. I found it in the backdrop of my food sensitivities and overall health issues. The TCM always gave me some good advice overall. And in the Chinese medicine states that it nourishes your liver, kidneys, and heart, transforms mucus, and revives blood, calms the mind, and supports the qi, which is energy production. And I've taken 4 different types, and this one is a simple tincture. That's alcohol-based tincture. This is obviously a raw chunk, a raw mushroom, right? And this one was grown and harvested here in Lithuania, which is very nice and dear that to have a local product like this. But it's supposedly not as potent as the ones from Siberia, which grow in cold, much more extreme temperatures. And then there's Mycelium. I came across this product, thinking it was regular Chaga, but it was Mycelium, and it's very light, kind of light powder overall. Different product. I'll tell you more about this, and my favorite, of course, is capsules here, right? Which is a dual extract capsule form, very dark, almost like black type, if you see it here. All right, and it's a dual extract, and meaning that it's alcohol extract and water-based extract, and these ones work the best for me. And my experience with all different ones are basically whenever I took the raw form in the winter, for example, I experienced if I took too much, like runny nose, and I started coughing for some reason. For the longest time I couldn't figure out why I'm coughing, but I was coughing from Chaga, which was insane. I found one other lady online that had similar experiences. It's very strange. I do not take this raw form overall. I was making tea with it, but like I said, it's not as effective as dual extract form. And the dual extract ones can definitely felt the difference on my digestion and bile flow, and overall the number 2 part became very regular, and I could tell that there was no more pale color in it, and I could tell my digestion and bile was working so much better. And I tried so many different bile supplements because bile is essential for detoxing, right? Especially if you have like, you know, heavy metal toxicities and so on. So definitely the best type because it's all about bile flow. It's all about detox. So some of the immediate benefits that I felt even from the raw mushroom that I found here, and while I was waiting for the other types, was that I felt a stabilizing core temperature, and I would be having these chills during daytime or especially nighttime that it kept me from falling asleep. And then I found some info that Chaga does that. It stabilizes your temperatures if they fluctuate too much. This is due to really just exhaustion and central nervous system imbalances and so on. So, and of course, the second immediate benefit I felt on digestion just from one capsule a day, which is amazing. I mean, there's like 100 here, and you can pretty much just do one a day and derive the benefit. So, as far as my fatigue, I would say it's slowly improving anyways because of the Qigong practices I do. And also, you know, I'm careful with what I eat and how I eat and how, you know, what time I go to bed. So I'm very mindful of my adrenal support. And sleep, I wouldn't classify it as a sleep, for example, enhancer, mushroom overall. But I definitely felt, especially first few nights, my dreams were more vivid, and you know, I was like, you could just, I have these subtle increases in sleep, and I get excited over it. But like for example, like here, I felt like it was a more restful sleep. There was less awakenings and so on, and more vivid dreams, and less hot at night because the digestion is working better, and there's less toxins floating around. So and overall, like I mentioned, I feel like it's more like a balancing mushroom. If you have racing thoughts or anxiety, then I would definitely recommend more reishi or reishi, however you pronounce it, a mushroom which is a Shen tonic that they call basically a heart tonic. More like it calms the Shen, it calms the spirit. So try that if you're using it for sleep. So. Final note, really, some caution against high oxalates for Chaga, and I did some research because it's a concern with my digestion, and I found that some study says that it's a negligible amount, relatively speaking. I mean, it is high in oxalates, but the oxalates levels are much lower than in foods with extremely high oxalate levels, like spinach, rhubarb, chocolate, there being beet greens and so on. So I mean, it's high, but it's not so bad, right? And of course, if you're going to take it, so make sure you do your research, take precautions. There's other side effects that are possible with Chaga mushroom, and make sure you read things like WebMD and maybe even talk to a good doctor if you have one, and ask them about this. But rarely doctors know about these things, really. I mean, they're clueless. Last time I heard that doctors get 2 hours of education about sleep overall, so forget it. Doctors not very helpful. So anyways, that was my experience with Chaga. I'm curious to hear what yours is like. And oh, sorry, I just remembered that I actually forgot to tell you the Mycelium experience. And well, Mycelium was interesting. That I didn't feel overall improvement in anything, but my mood. I just felt more chipper. But also, after 2 or 3 nights, I felt like I was a bit more hot. And then I kind of had a crash, like this adrenal crash. And I think it's a sort of like heating, almost like a stimulant for adrenals. I'm very cautious with this. I rarely take it, you know, I don't take it every day. It's very interesting. For some reason, it's not a good fit for me long term. This is the capsules are dual extract best fit. This is not as helpful. It's not digestible overall. And this is just alcohol extract. It's kind of like a nice tea, I guess. Maybe a certain digestion help overall. So that's it. Now I'm finished. So that was my experience with Chaga. If you have yours, and if you've derived any benefits, especially about sleep, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And this was useful. Hang out more, subscribe, and I'd be delighted to see you on this channel again. So sleep tight. If you're not yet, someday you will. So take care for now. Bye.